You know, the experience on this lake is really a very, I mean, it can't help but be personal. Whether you've worked here or come here, there's always something that's very life-changing about the water in this lake. It's always nice to be able to share some of that personal stuff.
I'm Maria Rossi, and today I had an amazing experience on Lake Powell. I was able to go out today. We were at Antelope Point with Chad, and Chad has been on this lake for decades. And we toured around, and I am telling you, it was one of the most splendid days I think I'd ever spent anywhere on the water.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I've been back to some of the places through the years from my early teens when I first came to the lake. I came here in '67. The lake was at that point just like 3.5 years old, so Bullfrog was an outpost in nowhere. Today I kept going back to that very first trip for one reason, not because the lake level is where it was, because it's probably now 12, 15 feet higher than as I remembered at that point. What was really significant was the fact that I wasn't driving the boat. I had a chance today to not really have to worry about where the rocks are, where the buoys are. We got clear up in last chance, and I hadn't even been aware that I had left the main channel because I was just taking everything in.
I will take you anywhere on the lake you would like to go. I will take you fishing, I will take you hiking, or just sightseeing.
What did you think of Rusty?
I thought he was wonderful. I really felt like I was with a guru. Really, you could tell it was almost like he was born to do what he did. And that was just tool people around and show them great places. We could have spent 2 weeks with him on that boat easily.
Having Rusty on board and having him know the lake the way he does, I mean, that was worth every penny. Would you or I ever in our lives have found the bottoms of dinosaur tracks hanging off a cliff?
No. You would have been sitting right under it for hours and you probably wouldn't even looked up.
I'd never heard they were there. I hadn't heard any rumors about it, and what really got me is that I was looking from the ground's eye view at the bottom of the track. And the only thing that I regret having was not a really high power pair of binoculars so I could really zero in on them and see them.
Well, when Chad told me all the things from his past that he had experienced on this lake from the time he was probably, I believe he said the first time he came out here was when he was around in 7th grade. And to think that at this point, 40 years later, he is out here still taking in and discovering this incredible lake. And at the end of the day, we were on that boat for 7 or 8 hours, which was
it was a long trip.
It really
we went through all the cheese, crackers, and grapes really quick, and I think we were down to the last bottle of water.
It was a good thing we got off, but it was so pleasurable. So we get off, we're ready for a shower. It was beautiful. And we get on this luxurious houseboat, and you're like, really? It just doesn't end when you're in Lake Powell. It just keeps going and going and going, and it's just so much fun, and it is so relaxing.
If you've never been here, you guys are missing the boat. Whether you win a contest or you plan a trip, if you've never been to this lake, there's no experience like Lake Powell on the water, anywhere.
I can go into a canyon 100 times, and every time I go into that canyon, I will see something different I've never saw before. With 2,000 miles of shoreline, you could spend months and not see a lot of the cool attractions on this lake. We've probably traveled around 240 miles today.
Chad saw so many things today that he had never seen before either, and he's been on this lake. He wrote a book about this lake, and there were still things that he saw today that he had never seen before.
And I was able to just gaze and look and soak up stuff that was happening that I hadn't seen in so many years. And so that was really a unique experience for me.
When you go to that lake, this is not something that you can just say, hey, we went to Disneyland and we had a blast. This is something that it is so unique in your experience. Everybody has the most individual experience that it will stay with you literally for the rest of your life.
And this was a chance to do that. It was a chance to say, this is a part of me, and this whole thing happened here, and this is how I felt when I was here. And even if you're just discovering it together, this is a relational powerhouse down here. You've got to re-cement a relationship. You're just expanding one. or you're trying to, you know, rekindle and keep a flame there. There's nothing like this lake to do it, because it's got all those elements of family bond. It's got all those elements of romantic bond. There's something just magical about blue, clear water with an aqua overcast amongst the bright blue sky and the flame red rock. And it does something to your soul.